Howdy, folks. It is Diecast Buffet here again. Ryan Blaney wins at Iowa Speedway. The first ever Cup race. And wow, let me tell you, what a magical race. I'm not even going to front. Every expectation I had for Iowa shattered. I thought this was going to be a boring Richmond, Martinsville, whatever next-gen crap short track race. Arguably the best, and I mean the best short track race we have seen with the next-gen car. Holy cow, we got a lot to talk about, guys. Get a snack, get a drink, whatever. We're going to be talking Iowa Speedway. What a great weekend of racing. Oh my goodness, the ARCA, the Xfinity, the Cup, all three delivered with flying colors. And I almost guarantee you if they had a truck race, it would have delivered as well. Wow, so Ryan Blaney wins the Advanced Auto Parts Ford Mustang. That's going to be an awesome race win diecast. I have no idea if they even do confetti here at Iowa. I hope they do. It'd be cool if it was like green and yellow or green, yellow, and white, like, the Iowa Corn sponsor that they have for the event. And, of course, you can pre-order that diecast over there at Circuit Diecast if they do offer it, which I'm sure they will. 164 and 124 scale. Use promo code Diecast Buffet, and you could save on shipping. Any orders $30 or more. So, man, what a fantastic show. I could not believe how much fun this racetrack really is. I've watched trucks and Xfinity here, for pretty much a decade. I remember back in the ESPN nationwide days, and Iowa was just another version of Richmond. That's really what it was. A little bit faster, maybe a little bit more banking, but it was never a action banger track. And I was like, next gen cars, short track, it's going to be bad. Holy cow, was I wrong, man. I was watching the practice. And by the way, seeing like a 1 hour practice for Cup Series and Xfinity, literally, it took me back a decade. I mean, it's crazy how much I miss the long practice sessions that they had every single year for NASCAR. Please, for 2025, can we just get it back? I don't care if it's on a streaming service. I will subscribe to it. Long practice sessions are so much fun to watch. Just watching the storylines, the backup cars, the drama, the tire issues. It took me back 10 years ago to when NASCAR used to have like 3 1-hour practice sessions. That's how it felt. And the storyline of the weekend was the tire issues. We saw a boatload of them in the Xfinity race and the Cup Series race. And the moment I started seeing tire problems, I'm like, this is going to be good. When you have a very soft tire that wears out, that creates some drama, it makes for the best racing you usually see. That's why Bristol 2024, it was an insanely interesting race. A lot of people actually enjoyed it. I'm just saying, Goodyear brought a fantastic tire because it put the teams on edge. It forced them to have different strategies. Some teams got bit by it. This is old school stock car racing. There was a time and place where every single week you would have multiple engine failures. You would have multiple parts breaking, tires blowing out. That was just a normal week in the Nextel, early Sprint Cup, and Winston Cup days. So seeing tire problems now, this is just a part of all motorsports. It's just part of it. And this is what short track racing needs. You need to have parity. You need to have that battle of attrition. This race was only 350 laps. I think it's like 3/4 of a mile or some crap. I don't know. It felt like a 500-mile, 1.5-mile race. And I say that in a good way. I hope for 2025 they don't shorten this race. Keep it at 350 laps. It felt like an endurance. I loved it. The atmosphere. It was a magical event. It really was. There's some, every now and then, I've been watching NASCAR racing for over a decade and a half pretty much at this point. And every now and then there's a NASCAR race that you just don't want to end. You're like, man, the racing is so good. The atmosphere, the storylines, everything it's awesome. This was one of those races for me. It was a significantly better version of Richmond. You had the battle of attrition. Heavy hitters were getting taken out. You had the looming tire wear, and the tire effects that, they could blow out at any moment. You had some drivers that were able to make it work on older tires, but that's the thing. Yeah, the tires might not fall off a gargantuan amount, but if they blow out, Congratulations, you're out of the race. That creates strategy. Honestly, I think it was so much fun. Seeing how you had Kyle Larson, he was the dominant car, and then seeing how Denny Hamlin was struggling so bad, and then Hamlin and then Kyle Larson get taken out in the same wreck pretty much. It's like, this was just one of them races, man. I'm telling you, it really was a good one. I have no idea how everyone else felt about it. I haven't looked at the comments or anything. I was just really immersed into this event. Oh my goodness, guys. This is the next thing I wanted to talk about. NBC's broadcast of this NASCAR race was better in 5 minutes of practice than the entire NASCAR on Fox portion. Qualifying, practice, Xfinity, Trucks, and Cup and ARCA combined for 2024. 5 minutes on Friday was better than the entire year of NASCAR on Fox. I could not believe how much of a refreshing vibe it was seeing a professional style motorsports broadcast. They're not rushing it. They're just talking. They're just having a conversation about cars on track. They're not rushing into segments. They're tiptoeing into commercial breaks. The side by side, way more side by side. They're tipping their toes in the water, so to speak, entering the commercial breaks. It doesn't feel like, oh, well, a lead change, let's cut to commercial really quick. It didn't do that. It just felt so much more organic. People will say, oh, they don't like Jeff Burton's voice or Rick Allen's voice. I might be the contrarian. I actually really enjoy listening to them commentate. I always loved Rick Allen when he did the Speed Channel Truck Series coverage. I'm a huge Jeff Burton fan. So I really enjoy how he talks about the sport. He's very knowledgeable. He's always been he's always been kind of a teacher of the sport. Even back in his days when he was driving Winston Cup racing, he was the voice of the garage area for so many people, especially during the controversy with like the safety barrier or safety walls where they were implemented around 2001. He would be the voice of the drivers and go against the grain of NASCAR. And that's why people respect the crap out of him. But I just love the way he articulates during the broadcast. Steve Letarte, I think he gets better every year. The NBC booth, even without Dale Jr., is so far better, in my opinion, than the Fox production. And I love, Mike Joy and company, but it's just the camera angles. The cars they're not zoomed in. Like, do you really want to watch a NASCAR race like this? Battle for the lead. Here we go, battle for the lead. That's how it feels. I'm just shooting you straight on it. But watching the NBC broadcast, they don't zoom out, or they zoom out, and if they do a very zoomed in cut, they do a side-by-side. So you got the leaders up here, they're like zoomed in like this, but then down here, they like zoomed out on like the really intense battle for 8th place. The broadcast quality is so much better. Pre-race, post-race coverage, it just blows my mind. I feel bad for the IndyCar fans next year, because if NASCAR on Fox's style of coverage is anything like the IndyCar coverage in 2025, I know there's going to be a very large amount of people that are not going to like it. I'm just saying, I feel for it. the hardcore IndyCar fans having cartoon graphics and interviews that are just not even related to racing, and sharp commercial cut-ins with battle for the lead, full commercial cut-ins during the Indy 500. Oh boy. Anyways, I'm curious what y'all think. I could talk on and on about this. It was just such a great race. Definitely one of those events you're probably going to see 10 years from now. Very historic moment for the sport. Iowa Speedway finally getting it. And let me tell you, I was so wrong about this racetrack. I was like, why are they putting it on the schedule? This is not the normal Iowa Speedway. The repave they did to this changed it completely. And I'm in my video on a theory that I have. I think the secret to making the racing like this very good is you got to have high speed. Every single next-gen track that they've raced on that has high speed, the racing is fantastic. It's only the slow tracks that, outside of road courses, that they struggle. So if they go to Phoenix, New Hampshire, oh, by the way, they're going to New Hampshire apparently next weekend. I'll probably be asleep for that one. So if I don't upload, you know why. I'm asleep watching that joint. That's going to be, that's tragic. Sorry. Don't hate me. Gateway, the tracks that are flat, it's just very slow. Iowa had the repave in the corners. This is making the cars go around the track so fast. I could not believe how fast the Xfinity and ARCA cars were. And I think if you want to keep next-gen cars for the next 7 years and you want to make Iowa a destination event, I would not be opposed to repaving the corners every 3 to 4 years. I don't know how much it costs. I know it's expensive, but if they could find a way to just do a cheap repave every couple years and keep the speeds up, you'll probably keep getting great racing like this. I'm not even going to hold you. Like, I truly think that's the reason why. The faster you get the next-gen cars to go, they can run side by side. They're more aggressive. Every single high-speed track that the next-gen cars go to, they race unbelievable. The only common denominator is speed. So that's my theory, why Iowa was such a massive success, in my opinion. Again, I have no idea what other people have thought about it. They might have fell asleep. I'm just saying, I loved it. I was so wrong about this racetrack. The changes they made to it, just doing a half repave, it sounds so stupid on paper, but it made one of the most entertaining races I've seen in a long time. Like, I can't wait for another Iowa race. I mean, if they can provide racing this good, and they wanted to put 2 Iowa races, I'd be okay with it. I know this might age like milk, but I mean, like, if you could replicate this style of racing, there's no reason we should be going to Phoenix twice, Richmond twice. Give Iowa a second date. If the fans show up and you can put racing like this on, and you have to feel that need for a short track, there you go. That's my 2 cents. Thank you all for watching. Have a blessed one. Huge congratulations to Ryan Blaney. I am so glad NASCAR and NBC is back. I could not believe. I was literally, I was working out watching practice, and I just kept finding myself distracted watching the NBC practice. I'm just sitting there like, this is such a breath of fresh air. They're just talking cars. They're just talking. They're not forcing goofy characters and Mickey Mouse nonsense into the practice session. It was amazing. It was freaking amazing, guys. So, really excited for that. Nashville Super Speedway is... I love that racetrack. So, I'm just going to pretend New Hampshire is not happening next weekend because it's probably going to be... But that's besides the point. I'm looking forward to Nashville. That'll be a lot of fun. I hope it's a night race for the Cup race. I have no idea if it is, but I'll shut up. Thank you all for watching. Have a blessed one, everybody. I picked Kyle Larson to win. Of course. Yeah, he doesn't win. Shows what I know. Diecast Buffet. Sign